is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over.
Welcome to Beast of the Woods. This week we're headed to eastern Kentucky. We're going to go on a hammock camping adventure with our new friend Spencer Jameson and my lady Debbie Jones. Stay tuned for an interesting time.
Last night when we were all out here, we were kind of spread out in the area, and I was standing right here, and I had my Zoom H2N hooked up to my headphones, and it was on surround sound, so I was hearing all the movement from around. While I was standing here, it sounded like something was just crashing through the trees and leaves behind us, and it was coming towards us. And so I moved over here to my left towards where you were and told you that something was crashing through the trees over here. And while that was happening, evidently something had picked up a big log or something big and heavy and had actually thrown it through the trees and leaves, and it had made a loud thud over on the other side of the little road that you come into the cemetery on, where some of the other guys were standing. And I was in movement, so I didn't hear the thud. I was just getting out of its way because I knew something was coming. And then evidently at the same time, just right after, a rock was thrown in that same area, and I had moved on over towards the other side of the road, and within a few minutes an acorn or something sounded like it was falling out of the tree, and then just not long after that, a tree was pushed over in that same area. And so we had a lot of activity out here last night, and we've come out to try to see what it looks like more in the daytime, see if we can find any of the stuff that we heard last night. And Spencer just heard something up here on the hill. Take it away, Spencer.
I was standing over there last night, and after some calls were made, I distinctly heard something moving in the woods, branches popping, and it could have been something that was thrown. I don't know. I know that I heard branches breaking, like something moving through the woods, and I distinctly heard 2 or 3 things thrown through the leaves and through the branches, and whenever it was hitting the leaves, it didn't sound like it fell straight down. It sounded like it was coming through the woods, hitting multiple branches before it hit the ground. And that happened 2 or 3 times, I'm not quite sure. It's just it was odd. It seemed really active to me. There's no doubt in my mind that there was something in the woods. I didn't see it. I don't know what it was, but there's no doubt that there was something moving in the woods and making noise and throwing stuff at us.
And it was a whole lot in a short
It was a lot of activity.
little time frame. Really short amount of time, a lot of activity.
It really was. It was very active, and it was it just, to me, the whole thing even felt I kind of had the hair on the back of my neck up. Just the feeling of it was different than just standing around in the dark. It just felt like something was there, and then stuff started happening, and I didn't see what did it, but
Something did.
Something did. Something broke branches, made noise, and threw stuff at us. That's all I got.
This is a look at the area that Debbie and Spencer were talking about where we had the activity. You can see it's an old cemetery and very thick woods all around it. Great place.
Start, yeah.
In the field, Spencer seemed to evaluate evidence pretty well.
Well, to me, it looks like it could be natural. It looks like it was part of this tree and fell over. But I'm trying to figure out where this branch came from. It's very old though. Came from and stuck in the ground right there, because that's obviously thicker there than it is there. But this, to me, this one that's horizontal, I think came off of here and was broke over that way.
It's good enough. I was impressed with Spencer's ability to evaluate evidence and look at them as natural or unnatural. A lot of people in certain situations, they will lose their imagination to emotion. Spencer seemed to keep that in check. Here in a minute, we're going to play a couple of audio clips from that night. So listen close and see what you think. Well, since Spencer seemed to handle that nighttime activity very well and the evaluation of the evidence in the field the next day, Debbie and I decided he only had one night left. He was leaving the next day, that we were going to take him to an area that we had scouted out the year before and seen a lot of activity and a lot of sign, and we were going to hammock camp that night. And here's what happened. We got a very late start that night as we went up the mountain to hammock camp. We got up there and we got set up, and immediately after Spencer got his tent set up, fire made, we had a tree pushed down. Not long after we sat down, had a lot of movement and other activity, and I'm about to play the audio for you now.
Tree, right?
Uh-huh. That was a tree. A lot of them seem to do that around here.
That was a really big tree.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I love it.
You must have a boring life.
It's great, man.
That was a really, really, really big tree. Smoke in the air, and that makes it hard.
And with that night vision, you may see eye shine.
It does stink. Maybe not.
No, that was awful quick.
Yeah.
That's the calls that were recorded, we were unsure at that time whether it was someone else from our party calling or not, but we checked with the other parties and found out that they wasn't that close to us. And you can look at the decibel levels on that spectrogram, and it was down in the level that a possible booger would be. So pretty sure the calls are legit, and we had a good night. We made it out. We come out the next morning at daylight. There's so many audio clips we got from movement, twigs snapping, all kinds of stuff like that, but it just wasn't enough to put on this video. It'd get kind of boring after a while just hearing all that movement and twig snap. Anyway, if you'd like to check out Spencer's interview, go to the Sawdust Beast YouTube channel on Beast TV, and Spencer was on that, and we talked more in depth about what all went on here. Thanks for watching, guys.